ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
श्री परीक्षित उवाच।
श्री परीक्षितवाच।
निवृत्ति मार्ग कथितः
मार्ग
आदौ भगवता यथा
आदौ
क्रम योगोपलब्धेन
कर्मयोगोपलब्धेन
ब्रह्मणा यद असंश्रुति।
ब्रह्मणा यत् संसृति.
यस,
मेरे को
Oh, go ahead, Prabhu. Oh, प्रभु जी का कनेक्शन टूट गया, आई थिंक.
लिए आप ही पढ़ लीजिए।
ठीक है जी, थैंक यू. हरे कृष्णा. शिला प्रभुपाद जी की जय. Translation. Maharaj Parikshit said, O my Lord, O Sukadev Goswami, you have already described in the second canto the path of liberation, Nivritti Marg. By following that path, one is certainly elevated gradually to the highest planetary system, Brahmalok, from which one is promoted to the spiritual world along with Lord Brahma. Thus, one's repetition of birth and death in the material world ceases. Purport. Since Maharaj Parikshit was a Vaishnav, when he heard the description at the end of the fifth canto of the different hellish conditions of life, he was very much concerned with how to liberate the conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya and take them home back to Godhead. Therefore, he reminded his spiritual master Sukadev Goswami about the Nivritti Marg or path of liberation, which he had described in the second canto. Maharaj Parikshit, who at the time of death was fortunate to have met Sukadev Goswami, inquired from Sukadev Goswami about the path of liberation at that crucial time. Sukadev Goswami very much appreciated his question and congratulated him by saying, Variyana esha te prashnay krito loka hitam nripa atmavit samata pumsam shrota vyadishu yahpara. My dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial for all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter of hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists. Bhagavatam 2.1.1. Parikshit Maharaj was astonished that the living entity in the conditional stage do not accept the path of liberation, devotional service, instead of suffering in so many hellish conditions. This is the symptom of a Vaishnava. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu evacha. A Vaishnava is an ocean of mercy. Para dukha dukhi. He is unhappy because of the unhappiness of others. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj, being compassionate towards the conditioned souls suffering in hellish life, suggested that Sukadev Goswami continue describing the path of liberation, which he had explained in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. The word asamshriti is very important in this connection. Samshriti refers to continuing on the path of birth and death. Asamshriti, on the contrary, refers to Nivritti Marg or the path of liberation by which one's birth and death cease, and one gradually progresses to Brahmalok unless one is a pure devotee who does not care about going to higher planetary systems, in which case one immediately returns home back to Godhead by executing devotional service. Tyakatva deham punarjanma neti. Parikshit Maharaj therefore was very eager to hear from Sukadev Goswami about the path of liberation from the conditioned soul, for the conditioned soul. According to the opinion of Acharyas, the word karma yoga palabdhena indicates that by first performing karma yoga and then gyan yoga and then finally coming to the platform of bhakti yoga, one can be liberated. Bhakti yoga, however, is so powerful that it does not depend on Karam Yoga or Gyan Yoga. Bhakti Yoga itself is so powerful that even an impious man with no assets in Karam Yoga or an illiterate with no assets in Gyan Yoga can undoubtedly be elevated to the spiritual world if he simply adheres to Bhakti Yoga. Mam evashyasi asamshaya. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 8.7 that by process of Bhakti Yoga, one undoubtedly goes back to Godhead, back home to the spiritual world. Yogis, however, instead of going directly to the spiritual world, sometimes want to see other planetary systems. And therefore, they ascend to the planetary system where Brahmas live, where Brahma lives, as indicated here by the word Brahmana. At the time of dissolution, Lord Brahma, along with all the inhabitants of Brahmalok, goes directly to the spiritual world. This is confirmed in the Vedas as follows. Brahmana saha te sarve samprapte parishnaka pratishankare parashyante kritatmana pravishanti parampadam. Because of their exalted position, those who are on Brahmalok at the time of dissolution go directly back home, back to Godhead, along with Lord Brahma. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. See, very interesting point here. Now, see, Srimad Bhagavatam is actually very profound, as we have discussed yesterday also. There are many layers of understanding this. Now, this discussion about the history of Ajamil comes immediately following the discussion of the planetary systems and the discussion which ended specifically with the description of the hellish planets. Okay. Now, Maharaj Parikshit is astonished that the whole process of Varnashram Dharma is about Nivritti. Then why do people still want to remain attached to abominable activities which drag them down to such abominable planets? So now he's seeking clarification from Maharaj Parikshit. Now from Shukdev Goswami. And Shukdev Goswami is now going to explain this particular topic. In the second canto, we have seen the process of creation, where the canto ended with Srimad Bhagavatam is the answer. That means the end of second canto describes how one can become liberated from this material world. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasvarjam rasopyasya param dashtva nivartate. So one may follow many purificatory processes, many purificatory rites, but if the sinful desires remain, then such purification has no meaning. We enter into this material world with our own choice, and we have to leave the same way. No one is holding us here. We may call this place Durga Sthan or something, but this is not, Durga Devi is not holding us here. Maya Devi is not holding us here. We are holding ourselves back. Rasvarjam rasopyasya param dashtva nivartate. Unless we develop a higher taste, we are not leaving this world. Therefore, the process of liberation, real liberation from this material world, means becoming attached to Krishna, devotional service, who is Rasaraj. By giving up material rasas, one may at best climb up to some heavenly planet or even up to Brahmalok. But because the senses are material, again some desire will evolve and the living entity will fall down again. The only way to get out of this world is to become attached to Krishna. You know, the 10th chapter where Krishna is describing, that Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. If one lovingly serves Krishna, then Krishna will give that intelligence. But if one does not serve Krishna nicely, if one does not lovingly serve Krishna, one will remain attached to all the beauties of this material world. So here it's also described that yogis also climb up to Brahmalok. Yogis climb up to different planets, up to Brahmalok also, because they haven't developed love for Krishna. So they keep getting attached to so many things. Now, a yogi may not be attached to the lower principles of life. He may be following all the regulative principles properly, but still, because he has not developed attachment to Krishna, he will still be attached to the variegatedness of this material world. The upper reaches of the material world look very nice. The upper reaches of the material world are practically spiritual. But still, Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. Anyone who goes even up to Brahmalok has to come down. Unless one serves Krishna with love and devotion, one will have to repeatedly take birth within this material world, because even Brahma is not immune to such attractions. Especially when he becomes attached to his own daughter Vak. We can see that this material creation is so dangerous that even its own architect becomes attached to it. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments here?
Hare Krishna.
Again, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, here it says कि he waits till in the Brahmlok till Brahma takes him to spiritual world.
Hmm.
So does it mean that the person will continue in Brahmlok all the way?
Yes.
This may be many eras and all that.
Yes.
That means his past work is so much that it entitles him to be in Brahmlok all the way.
Yes.
Okay.
See, one goes to Brahmalok when one is situated in the mode of goodness. So even being in the mode of goodness does not assure that one will go back to Godhead. That is something we understand from here. This material world is not a good place at all. One should not have any conceptions about this material world. One should not see it as a good place. One should not see it as a bad place. One should simply become indifferent to this material world, or one will be forced to suffer.
But at the time of inhalation, then this person goes to the spiritual world along with Brahmaji.
Yes.
But those who works were not that pious, what happened to them? They come back to hell, that means.
Yeah, they hang around in the Brahman for some days, and then when new creation takes place, they will take another birth.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, they go back to Godhead, no? It's written.
Yeah. So not all will go back to Godhead. If someone is attached to this material world, he'll take birth again. If a yogi,
Because, go ahead, Prabhuji.
so yogis usually travel through all the planets. You know, yogis pass through many planets and eventually they reach Brahmalok, and then from there they may go back to Godhead. So, however, if the yogi has not purified himself completely, one will still have to take birth again. It may be a very pious birth. One may take birth as Indra or someone, but it will be a material birth anyhow.
No. Yes.
Have some water, Prabhuji.
That's what.
Yeah. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Yes.
Prabhuji, in the these world like Swargaloka or any other loka, means is bhakti is conducive because means Swargaloka will be full of luxury. So means like Dukkham will be missing in those loka. So is those loka are conducive for bhakti because anyhow they have to take birth again.
See, that's a very important point. Actually, it's neither conducive nor inconducive. If one has a desire to serve Krishna, he can serve Krishna anywhere. If one doesn't have the desire, one will not serve anywhere. We fell from Golok. We had Radha and Krishna with us. We left their service. So we see the story of actually, what's his name? Brahma, this Gop Kumar. Gop Kumar went to Swarga. He went to Indralok. He went to Janalok, Taplok, Maharlok. So many planets.
Yeah, right.
But from there he climbed because his attraction to Krishna was so much, Param Dashtva Nivartate. He had seen Krishna. He didn't want to miss him. He didn't like the splendor of heavens. But because he didn't know where Golok was, so he kept on moving from one planet to another. So therefore, eventually, in fact, it's not that even spiritual world was so simple for him. He went to Shivlok, from there he went to Ayodhya, from Ayodhya to Dwarka, and from Dwarka, eventually it was Uddhav who sent him back to Golok. So it's one's own consciousness. But yes, it is difficult. In heavenly planets, it is very difficult because we have a propensity to enjoy our senses. and sense gratification is available in ample quantities there.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Can I
Yes.
please? Prabhuji, it says sentence here, yogis, however, instead of going directly to the spiritual world, sometimes want the other planetary system.
Hmm.
So, if a yogi has been so elevated that his consciousness is ready to go to a Vaikuntha planet,
Hmm.
why would, with that consciousness, would he wanted to, wander around to other planetary systems then? Why would he go to Brahma Ji's planet rather than then going to Vaikuntha if the consciousness is that he's about to go there?
See,
Prabhuji,
material world, in the higher reaches,
Mhm.
material world is practically like spiritual world. It's very pure. The heavenly planets are very, very pure.
Mhm.
So yogi will become attached to that. Yogi has not seen Krishna.
Mm.
So he's just looking at all the pious places. Yogi will not be attracted to lower class planets like this, what we saw, Atal, Sutal, Vital, Talatal. He will not be attracted to those places.
Mhm.
But he will certainly become attracted to planets like Janalok, Taplok, Maharlok, which are practically spiritual.
Mhm. And would a yogi ever go to Vaikuntha planet?
Yeah, why not?
Is there? I mean, the consciousness is so clear that they end up going points.
See, the four Kumaras were also yogis. They went to
Mm.
But because there is no love for Krishna, Golok is difficult.
True. Also, Prabhuji, one more question. When we say here it says in the beginning of this paragraph, it says indicates that by first performing Karam Yoga and then Gyan Yoga and then finally coming to the platform of Bhakti Yoga, one can be liberated. So when we take our example, we are mixed.
Hmm.
Sometimes Gyan Yoga, sometime in Karam Yoga, and a little bit sometime in Bhakti Yoga. So how do we take ourselves where we are practically and get ourselves to completely into Bhakti Yoga? Because there are so many things that we do throughout the entire day. Yes, they are duty and whatever, they are still karam, right?
Hmm.
So how do we take that?
Keep on chanting and keep on meditating on the holy name. Eventually, you will become purified. That's why it's tapasya. At this stage, we'll not develop taste.
Mm-hmm.
We'll not develop taste for Krishna consciousness. We don't have taste for chanting. We just do it as a matter of discipline.
Yes.
There is some taste. We see some taste, but it's not fully there yet. Still,
Mm-hmm.
that's why we are still attracted to material objects.
Mm-hmm.
But it is very, very potent process. You keep on chanting the holy names, eventually you will become purified. So don't expect it to happen overnight. Millions of lives you have spent.
Mm.
Hmm.
True.
We can take to Bhakti Yoga directly also, no? It's not necessary to go through all these things. If in
No,
case
no.
you are among the association of devotees,
Hmm.
pick up around Bhakti Yoga straight away.
Yeah. So we are practicing. We are doing sadhana.
Yeah.
We are doing sadhana to understand bhakti. We are not still there yet.
Not Bhakti, but we are sadhaka as such.
Hmm.
And it's not necessary to go to Gyan Yoga and Karma Yoga and all this process.
Yeah. So don't go through all of that. Don't become. That's why you see, we should not change the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. We should follow them exactly as they are.
Yes.
Confusion hai Prabhuji mere ko. So the same point that Prabhuji is bringing, we can directly get into Bhakti Yoga. So the things that we're doing every single day, say daily things, they are not part of Bhakti Yoga, no? So 24/7 we are not in Bhakti Yoga. Though we are trying, like the time that we have, we are trying to best utilize, but that's not, is that considered Bhakti Yoga?
See, Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti is not so easy. Bhakti is not so simple. What we are doing is sadhana.
Mhm.
See, we have to go through the steps of this yoga process. What is karma yoga? Dravya dan, sacrifice of material luxuries for Krishna. So
Mhm.
as now when you are working in your job or something, you are earning dollars or euros or rupees or whatever.
Mhm.
You are supposed to sacrifice that for Krishna.
Mhm.
Can't say, "Oh, I am a bhakta, I don't do any such things."
Mhm.
You have to acquire knowledge of Krishna.
Mhm.
Jnana yoga means acquiring knowledge of Krishna.
Ji.
Jnana yoga. Now speculation comes in between because a yogi has no knowledge.
Mhm.
He starts speculating. But if you have a bona fide guru, then you have direct knowledge.
Mhm.
But still, knowledge has to be acquired. We have to study the Bhagavad Gita, we have to study the Bhagavad.
Ji.
So Jnana yoga is also there.
Mhm.
Then there is Ashtanga yoga. What is Ashtanga yoga? Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam,
Mhm.
Pratyahar, Dhyan, Dharana, Samadhi. So those things are in Bhakti also, we have discussed previously.
Mhm. Correct.
Regulative principles,
Mhm.
taking prasadam, Mangalarti, Yam and Niyam.
Mhm.
We should not be running here and there unnecessarily.
Mhm.
So that is your asan. Then there is some pranayam, that is your chanting. Chanting is pranayam.
Mhm.
Pratyahar, don't entertain materialistic thoughts. Pratyahar.
Mhm.
Dharana, think about Krishna and acharyas and the scriptures, that is dharana. Meditate on the scriptures and the holy name, that is dhyan.
Mhm.
Remain immersed in service of this devotional service of the Supreme Lord, that is samadhi. So you see this yoga process, we in bhakti, we have to follow these steps also.
Mhm. They're all engrossed in. Mhm.
Yes, they're all
Mhm.
involved because the final objective of all these steps is to know Krishna.
Mhm.
Only difference is that when we technically describe them as karma yoga or dhyan yoga or Gyan Yoga, there we mean that someone is still searching for Krishna. Here we have found the process, now we are purifying ourselves.
Oh. Mhm. Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. That line defines it. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ji.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So, any other question?
Prabhuji, I have one question. This Jnana Yogi, they achieve the Brahman, right?
Yeah.
So how do they do that?
By meditation, by purifying mind, pratyahar, giving up materialistic thoughts, home,
Jnana
family,
Yogi.
money. Huh?
No. Jnana Yogi, not
Your
Ashtanga Yogi. I'm talking about Jnana Yogi.
Gyan Yogi.
Yeah.
Because they meditate. See, Gyan Yogis also have to take sannyas. Gyan Yoga, this karma, this Gyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, it cannot be done without brahmacharya and sannyas.
No, just by knowledge, how one gets Brahman.
But you get knowledge, you will attain Brahman by knowledge. Actually, by knowledge, you will eventually come to the platform that you have to sacrifice everything. You will realize Brahman.
Okay.
See, what is Brahma Bhuta stage? Understanding that there is the only truth is Brahman. So one reaches up to the concept of Brahman. By Ashtanga Yoga, one is able to approach Paramatma, which is like a form of personality of Godhead, a reflection of the personality of Godhead. By knowledge, what do you learn? This material world is the source of all miseries. One has to renounce it completely. When we renounce this world, what is left? That is only Brahman. So the Gyan Yogi attains Brahman.
So what scripture do they read, Prabhuji?
They study all the Shastras. They study Upanishads mainly. They study the Vedas, the Upanishads. Vedas and Upanishads. Gyan Yogis don't really see the Puranas.
So just by reading, their heart gets purified and they reach the Brahman.
By reading and by meditation, not just reading.
Meditation on what? Meditation on what?
Meditation on what they are reading. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. So the Gyanis, they sit and talk with each other. They discuss. They're like academics. They're sitting and discussing with each other.
Tark vitark.
Tark Vitark. Yes, they're Gyanis. They're discussing. Munis. They're meditating. Like they're always like Patanjali, Charak. All these are Munis. They're like professors, they're discussing, they're like PhD scholars. They're trying to approach the truth, and only some may be able to approach Brahman. Jnanis usually get
Very
lost in
difficult
between.
path.
Yes, a difficult path. But bhakti is the most difficult path. Bhakti is the most difficult path. All these paths are easy.
But somewhere
No.
I read bhakti is easy.
Huh?
Bhakti is easy compared to
No.
others.
Not at all. Bhakti is literally the most difficult path. But in this age of Kali, this is the only path which is left to us.
Exactly. Surrender to Krishna and forget about everything.
Yeah, surrendering to Krishna is not easy at all. Srila Prabhupada says. It's the most difficult thing.
But we should think they were surrendering. As we slowly will improve.
Yes.
But that association is
So,
Actually, we are all thinking, we are thinking that we are already entered the bhakti stage. That is the main problem. We are just in the peripheral stage of bhakti. We are just trying to do bhakti by the different ninefold path. But only after purification we will be able to do actual bhakti. Therefore,
Yes,
it is
we are
difficult.
very of the sadhakas also. In fact,
Just the outer world we can.
See, in this process of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, you don't need to purify your heart. You don't really need to simplify your heart. You can hang on with your ahankar. But bhakti means giving up ahankar, which is the most difficult thing. Yes, someone else also. Piyusha Mataji, you had a question?
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Rahul Prabhu. Haan, boliye.
Prabhuji, actually, for bhakta means all world means all means wherever other than Golok, he will be means like miserable condition in all other world. This
Yes.
material world is also a miserable condition, but his condition will be miserable in any other planet also.
Yes. See, it's
Yeah,
simple.
because
What is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying? We were just the other day I was discussing that Anandram Prabhu or someone we were discussing that we should start discussing Chaitanya Shiksha Ashtakam. Yeah, yesterday we were talking. So you see, Chaitanya Shiksha Ashtakam is actually the essence of the essence of the essence. It is the whole bhakti process step by step. So what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying? Yugaitam nimishena chakshusha pravrashaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahene. So you see, Govinda Virahename, a pure devotee is separated from Krishna, so he's suffering. So, like a child, suppose a child loses his mother, and someone comes and gives him candies, someone comes and gives him toys, will the child feel happy? He may experience some relief or a little bit of joy, but he'll not be happy. Because at the back of his mind, he knows mother is missing, so he'll be miserable. So just like that, a pure devotee of Krishna, he has seen Krishna. So he'll not be happy wherever he goes. Like Gopkumar, he was not satisfied in Indralok, Janalok, Tapalok, Maharalok, even Brahmalok. So a pure devotee will not be happy anywhere. Because everywhere he'll feel the pangs of separation from Krishna. In fact, when he sees people enjoying the material life in heavenly planets, he'll feel even more miserable.
yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So we continue?
Yeah.
Text 2. Pravritti lakshanaschaiva.
It says three lakshyaha
Jaiva.
Traigunyo vishayo mune.
seva.
Yo sava alina prakritir.
Yo
Savalina prakrite.
Gunasarga punah punah.
Punah.
May I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. O great sage, Sukdev Goswami, unless the living entity is freed from the infection of the material modes of nature, he receives different type of bodies in which to enjoy or suffer, and accordingly to the body. He is understood to have various inclinations. By following these inclinations, he traverses the path called Parvatit Marg, by which one may be elevated to the heavenly planes, as you have already described in the third canto. Purport. As Lord Krishna explained in Bhagavad Gita 9.25, Yanti Deva Vartaha Devan Pittan Vanti Pitrivita Bhutani Yatani Bhuteshu Yatani Mat Yajno Mama. Just a minute. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among the beings. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors, and those who worship me will live with me. Because of the influence of the various modes of nature, the living entities have various tendencies and propensities, and therefore they are qualified to achieve various destinations. As long as one is materially attached, he wants to be elevated to the heavenly planets because of his attractions to the material world. The Supreme Personality of Godhead declares, however, those who worship me come to me. One has no information about the Supreme Lord and his abode. One tries to be elevated only to higher material position. But when one concludes that in this material world, there is nothing to be repeated but repeated birth and death, he tries to return home, back to Godhead. If one attains that destination, he need never return to the material world. Yad Katvada Nirvantante Tadhama Paramam Mamam. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 9.151, ब्रह्मांडो भर में कौन भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृपा प्रसादी पाए bhakti lata bij. According to their karmas, all the living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planets system, and some are going down into the lower planetary systems. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with the bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of creeper of devotional service. All living entities are rotating throughout the universe, going sometimes up to the higher planetary system and sometimes down to the lower planets. This is the material disease, which is known as Parvati Marga. When one becomes intelligent to take or to Nivritti Marga, the path of liberation, and thus instead of rotating within the material world, it returns home back to Godhead. This is necessary.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Then to Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. O great sage Shukadeva Goswami, unless the living entity is freed from the infection of the material modes of nature, he receives different types of bodies in which to suffer, to enjoy or suffer, and according to the body, he is understood to have various inclinations. By following these inclinations, he traverses the path called Pravritti Marg, by which one may be elevated to heavenly planets, as you have already described in the third canto. So you see, in the third canto also in the second canto we have seen the coverings of Maya, starting with Ahankar. As soon as one is situated in Ahankar, one loses the sight of Krishna. Then the only thing which is visible to one is Maya. All that you see in the absence of Krishna is Maya. So-called family, society, nation, everything is Maya. So when devotees talk about attachment to family life, that is also Maya. One has to understand that. Realization of that would be the process of Brahma Gyan. If this material world is miserable, one has to give it up. That's the very beginning of Brahma Gyan, or the very beginning of liberation. So those who are like pravritti means what? Jibhara lalasa jai iti uti dhai, Shishnodar parayana Krishna nahi paye. So Jibhara lalasa, that is that only, this taste or that taste. Sometimes as a demigod, sometimes as a rishi, sometimes as a muni, sometimes as a demon. One is continuously moving up and down this universe. But unless one understands Krishna, one will not be able to get liberation. Mam upetya punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramamgata. So Mam upetya, those who attain Krishna can alone become free from all of this. So, but attaining Krishna is not so simple. If one wants to reach the spiritual world, one has to make spiritual world one's destination. So as we have discussed previously also, if you want pure Krishna consciousness, Krishna must be your destination. Krishna must be your objective, not your wife, not your husband, not your daughter, not your son, not your mother, not your country, nothing. The problem with most devotees is, which includes me also, is that we have so many objectives in life. And Krishna is not the objective. Krishna is a duty. We just do something and hope that Krishna will purify us. But we don't make Krishna proactively the center of our life. Our center of life is daughter, son, mother, father, engineering, medicine, everything. But except Krishna, if we ask ourselves very honestly, we have many objectives in life and Krishna is not one of them. And that is why we are here in this material world. But unfortunately, somehow, if we come under the shelter of a pure devotee spiritual master, then we become purified. On the other hand, if we take shelter of a spiritual master who is not a pure devotee, our life will be again restricted to material world only. Hare Krishna. Yes, any questions or comments?
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yeah.
It's kind of a dilemma too. Two things actually. I do feel, that we are wasting time. This is sheer waste of time, that, the time that we could have used literally in Krishna services is used everywhere else. So somewhere there is that grudge that, whatever you do, this is the wastage of time that's ongoing. Despite of this grudge, we keep pushing. So one day I thought, I'm gonna try my level best, and I took a day off from work, pretend day off from work, and I thought I'm gonna spend this entire day reading. Prabhuji, the experience that I could not read entire day. I read for a couple hours, yes, but after that, bored. I had to do something else, which was not related to Krishna. So clear. Despite of this feeling that comes that we are wasting time, I felt I'm so much engrossed that even if given a chance, I will not do what I'm supposed to do.
Now that's a very nice realization actually. And it's a very good realization to have early on in bhakti. That means we are so much in passion, Rajoguna, that we are not able to think of Krishna. See, the example that Prabhupada gives, of electrical fan. You put off the switch, the fan continues to rotate. So we have also switched off our material senses now, but the previous sanskaras are still dragging us.
To a point that we keep pushing again and again, like we don't stop.
See, like there is this Malgadi in India, goods train. You hear that hammering noise whenever a train is trying to stop. Thong, 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 thong. Those are the coaches which are preventing the locomotive from stopping. The engine wants to stop, but now the bogies don't want it to. So their momentum is pushing them forward. And with their momentum, they're pushing the bogies in front of them forward. So it's like that, Now you're trying to stop the senses. They're not going to stop so soon. And if you try further, you'll start getting some very nasty thoughts also.
And then the day I thought I'm going to read, I'm going to give myself this 8-9 hours thorough read. I could not do it. So what does that tell? That there's no now anywhere.
It means that you have a lot of contamination which still needs purification. And that's why you are chanting 16 rounds and studying for 2 hours. That's why Prabhupada said chant 16 rounds, read 2 hours. He did not say you chant 64 rounds and read for 8 hours.
Slow study means this.
Yeah.
No, that was just a test. Okay? I keep on
Very-
saying it. Time, I need time. I give myself time.
धैर्य रखिए, धैर्य, patience.
See, उत्साहान निश्चयात धैर्य तत्त कर्म प्रवर्तनात्. So उत्साह धैर्य निश्चय, that is one thing. But one more thing, so Prabhupada knew that this is going to be the problem with us. Therefore, Prabhupada engaged on us in active devotion. So if suppose you had taken a day off, you should have just sat down and made plans for expanding this preaching. What kind of new preaching can be done? How to engage children, how to engage married women, unmarried women, like this, So this is also devotional service. This is indirect, but still devotional service. If your mind is not getting focused on scriptures, you plan for Krishna. If you're not able to plan for Krishna, you cook for Krishna. So one way or the other, keep getting engaged in Krishna consciousness. So like, start making modules. How should I preach to engineers? How should I preach to doctors? How should I preach to managers? What could be their specific consciousness? What could be the specific challenges? So like that.
ठीक है बाबू जी, थैंक यू. मतलब कि diversify rather than just saying कि मैंने 8 घंटे यही करना. You diversify your activity so your mind gets busy, है ना?
Absolutely.
ठीक है जी. Thank you so much बाबू जी. हरे
Hare
कृष्ण.
Krishna. Okay.
Dandavat Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam. Yes, Prabhu.
Actually,
Prabhu,
Prabhupada is using that entire program also, na Prabhuji. Even by using that program also, we can engage easily around 8 hours at least we can engage. 8 hours of the day we can get easily engaged by following the programs which Prabhupada has given.
Yeah. Yes, Rahul.
Prabhuji, we can say means like feeling morose is also good or conducive for bhakti.
Yes, yes. See, why are we morose? Because we are missing something in our life. Say, you are morose, you are missing your parents. So you are feeling morose. So, well, that's a feeling. You can't change your feeling. Feelings are just natural. They're coming. They are what is our conditioning. So how do you use that in bhakti? So you think of it. Okay, I am feeling morose because I am missing my parents. So what am I missing really? I am missing their love and their affection, their care. So where is that love, affection, and care coming from? The origin of all this is Krishna. So actually I am missing Krishna, but mistakenly I am attributing it to my parents, to those jivas who took my parents' body. But actually I am missing Krishna, so I should meditate on Krishna. I should pray more desperately. So yes, so encourage these feelings of moroseness and chant more desperately.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Prabhuji, I have one question. I was reading this second canto. When one is freed from all the material necessities, one becomes qualified to discharge the process of bhakti yoga. And liberation from the material condition is automatically achieved by the gradual development of pure devotional services. And these effects of bhakti yoga are called as anartha nivritti. So I didn't understand, when one is freed from all material necessity, then one becomes qualified to discharge the process of bhakti yoga.
Yes.
How is that provision? It's other way, right?
No. How will see? Imagine this. Like, okay, let's go to scriptures. According to scriptural injunctions, in a household where there are children, deity worship is not usually carried out. Babies especially are dirty. Babies are unclean. So babies are not allowed in arena of this yajnas. Babies should not be brought to temple actually. Babies are dirty. So still a devotee practices. So then how do we understand? Because even a great sadhu has to be a baby at some point. So that's the time of practice. So like that, in bhakti, we are still dirty. We are just practicing. Children are given, sometimes kartals to play or something, but children are by nature, they are dirty. They're like animals. Tamoguna. Children may be looking very cute and smart or whatever, but they're animals. They don't have any consciousness, human consciousness. They are actually like animals. So at that stage, they are not qualified to render bhakti, but we train them. So they train, and when they grow up, they can become devotees. So just like that, sadhaka is also like a child. His consciousness is very dirty, full of so many dirt things. So at that stage, we practice sadhana. We just practice purifying ourselves. When we are completely purified, then we can render bhakti. Brahma bhuta prasanna atma na shochati na kankshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labte parao. Brahma bhuta prasanna atma. Bhakti begins after Brahma bhuta. Before that, it is only sadhana. It is practice. Because we are still attracted to so many material things. Therefore, we are not pure enough to render service to Krishna directly.
Then what we are doing at present, what is that then?
Sadhana.
Sadhana.
Anything
So
apart
we are
from that
not
is
yet
imagination.
devotees.
Huh?
So we are not yet devotees. We are just sadhakas.
We are sadhakas. Devotee means pure devotee. Prabhupada says, devotee means pure devotee.
Oh.
Not even sadhakas. We are novice.
We are novices. We are trainees. We are just learning. That's why we always we love our mother, we love father, we love daughter, we love son. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. So if we
pick up.
still,
If you have determination, you can pick up. That's all.
yes. With
So devotee
determination,
is the one who doesn't have any desire.
material desire.
Can we say that? He doesn't
Yes.
have any desire. So he
He
is a
doesn't have
devotee.
any material desire. He still has desires for Krishna.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Material desire.
Yes. Okay. So we
Okay,
stop here today then. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam.
Thank you.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna ji, Dandavat pranam.